All righty, is the frequency in use? I'm ready finally. Let's start out at the beginning. I was in such a rush to get my batteries and handheld in operation for 5 watts on low power so I could last the hour, and power came back on at 5 minutes up. Anyway, this is K4PEW net control for the Mount Juliet Simplex radio net. Is there any emergency or priority travel? All righty. If there's any emergency priorities, just break in anytime. We're glad to help you out. For information on this net, you can look us up right now on YouTube, which we're live now on YouTube. So you can do that there. Hang on a second. Trying to get things still squared away here. There we go. See that a little better. Somewhat. I never did get the lighting squared away here. There we go. All right, sorry about that. Anyway, on YouTube, which is under my call, K4PEW, on the search block, or on the channel, which is called Brain Trust, BRAINTRUSTS, and you'll find it there, and it'll show up there on live. And what else was I going to say here? Okay, and also you can see us on our website, which is 146415.net. I'll say that again, same as the frequency without the decimal, 146415.net, or you can look on Yahoo groups at MJ_SS, and or you can email me directly at K4PEW@ARRL.net. We normally meet at 8 p.m., which is a little late tonight, on Wednesdays and Saturday nights. We conduct a net, of course, on 146.415 megahertz FM Simplex. Purpose of the net is support and train ham radio operators to have fun, and also to be available and ready for emergencies if they so be it. And a lot of people have upgraded their systems as a result of being interested in having a lot to do with Simplex Radio. We invite everyone to use the net to announce amateur radio events, activities, resources, and training in support of the local communities. If there's anybody has any announcements at this time. Well, my announcements are pretty slim. Tomorrow night we have the Wilson County Amateur Radio Club's Aries Information Net at 8 p.m. And that's at 147.105 with a 156.7 PL with a plus offset. And then, of course, Saturday we have our net again here on the same time, same place, just on a different day.
Contact.
Yeah, go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, I didn't get the microphone soon enough. The Wilson Amateur Radio Club meeting will be this Saturday night at 6 p.m. at room 122, Lamberry Hall, Cumberland University. So everyone's welcome. Back to net control, KB4 SFM.
All right, very good. There you go. Another one is announcement. The Wilson Amateur Radio Club's monthly meeting is Saturday. That's this Saturday, 6 p.m. And that's in room 122. It's on the first floor of Lamberry Hall, Lambry, I believe it is. And that's at Cumberland University in Lebanon. You should be able to find that easily. It's a really nice campus, really nice room, really nice building. And at 6 p.m. Saturday night. All righty, that was from Tom. If you have any questions on that, give me a call. Any other announcements?
And for MAW.
And for MAW, how you doing?
Good, fine, Paul. You may have already mentioned it, but my ham quest, 3 months from Saturday, 12 weeks from Saturday. Booth reservations are open. General reservations are open. 51 booths this year. Only have 15 left, so if you haven't got one and you want one, get your name in. NetPNHamquest.com.
I don't have that in front of me. The date on it is July. I forget which day it is.
Saturday, July the 27th, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. And still waiting on the paperwork to come back from ARRL on the sanctions there, but Saturday, July 27th, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. No testing. PE testing will be held on the regular day, Sunday the 28th of July. So, only have 15 booths left. They're just about all. They've been going like hotcakes this year again.
All righty, sounds good. That was Michael, and for MAW. Don't want to forget the Ham Quest, Middle Tennessee Ham Fest at Lebanon. It's right at the fairgrounds. It's July 27th, 8 to 3, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. There are only 15 tables left, 15. And they're going fast. The first, there's a bunch of them. So if only 15 left is a big deal. So if you want a table, you need to contact his call. Your call's on the QR, isn't it?
Roger that. Email will go to reservations@mid10hamquest.com or go to the website and you click on contact us, reservations, fill out the form. Either way, it'll get to me. We'll get you signed up and get your information out to you.
All righty. You're gonna have to look on the website for HamQuest because I hate to spell it out. It's mid-TN HamQuest at where was it? I already forgot what it was.
mid10hamquest.com. Reservations at mid10hamquest.com. We'll get your email to me. And you do the form there under contact us reservations. Menu items there. Mid-10, Mike, India, Delta, Tango, November, Hotel, Alpha, Mike, Quebec, Uniform, Tango, Sierra, Tango.com.
All right, now I got it. It's reservations. It's reservations at mid-TN. It's MIDTN, Tango November, HamQuest, which is Hotel Alpha Mike, Quebec, Uniform, Echo, Sierra Tango.com. And just tell them what you want. Or let me know and I'll pass it along if you weren't copying what I was saying. It's mid-TN hamquest.com. Reservations at. All right, very good. Anyway, 15 booths left. That's July 27th, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. You don't want to miss it. It's the biggest. Well, I think it's the biggest. It's the biggest ham event, at least in Wilson County, and I'm willing to bet it's the biggest. It might be bigger than the ones that they've been having over there in Nashville, but I'm not positive about that. But anyway, it's a good event, and there's lots of people show up, and it's a lot of fun. Anyway, any other announcements? The only reason you have to show up there is because Simplex will have a booth there as well. All right, no more announcements. We'll move right along then. And again, we're on, what do you call it? We're on YouTube here, so don't forget that. You can always look at it later if you can't do it now or won't do it now, or we'll force you to do it later. All right, any other announcements or corrections? I'll send out reminders for all of these events, of course, even the, like for instance, the ones coming up in Knoxville and other places. Not to mention the Cedars of Lebanon Ham Fest is also coming up. All righty. Any other? Also, there's a breakfast for the Simplextons, and it's on the second Saturday. I just want to be clear that it's the second Saturday. And I don't have a calendar up here that even shows me the second Saturday, but it's the second Saturday of May, whatever day that is. I believe it's the 11th, May the 11th, 8 a.m., and it's at Courtney's, Cortneys. That's on North Mount Juliet Road, about a quarter mile south of Lebanon Road on the west side. Can't miss it. It's tucked away nicely in a serene setting in a strip mall. It's a nice place for breakfast, and we have a private room, so we can have our fights and nobody will be bothered. All right, I'm going to move right along then. Anybody have any questions? Yeah, right. The big question of the day is, why am I wearing the same shirt I was the last net on Saturday? It's because I like the shirt. All right. We're starting from the east, so James, you better be ready.
WA4
You were ready, that's for sure. How you doing, James? You get any soggy tonight when it rained?
I stood out on the porch and watched it for a while. I didn't get too wet.
You didn't lose power tonight?
Oh, didn't even blink.
Nah, we had apparently somebody hit a power pole over here in our somewhere in our neck of the woods, but the power was back up in about 35, 40 minutes. So we're all good. It's good to have the air conditioning back on.
Yeah, we're doing fine here.
Yeah, well, that's because you're in the ritzy neighborhood.
Half ritzy.
Yeah, we're in the ratsy neighborhood over here behind Walmart. All right, very good, James. Good to have you in there. That's Whiskey Alpha 4 Zulu Hotel India, James, and he's over just east of the library, right in the middle of Tennessee, right in the middle of Wilson. I get it, Mount Juliet. Anybody else east of Mount Juliet?
K4 RBQ, I'm east.
Very good. Oh, you're east now. Are you mobile, are you?
Yeah, I'm still sitting here at Hardee's waiting for my food. I think they had to go up and kill the cattle.
Yeah, well, you better do it before they shut down all the cattle farms.
I hear that.
Oh boy, don't they know that beef is the reason that everybody got so big and robust in this country? All right.
Yeah, I came to the window now. I'm going to park up here. So I've been here 20 weeks for this stuff.
All righty. Were you doing all right there, Brent?
What was that, sir?
I see you doing okay.
Oh, yeah, I'm doing great. Like I said, it's just a matter of, we had our meeting at WEMA tonight with the ham radio group there, and just got some things ironed out about getting that trailer together, and so we should be ready to go by the fair.
Good. That'll be great. Yeah, it'd be nice that everybody gets it. Well, it's funny in ham radio, particularly anytime, and I've managed other larger groups of volunteer types organizations, and just getting anything done is a big accomplishment.
Yeah, we're still faster than the government.
Oh, and better.
Let's hope.
Yeah, no, it's always better because the government has a tendency to tell us what we do, and I don't like that.
I understand. Oh, I'm going to let you go. I got to get the food. So it was good talking to you, and I'll catch you next week.
Very good. That was Brent, Kilo Echo 4, Romeo Victor, Quebec, and he's mobile up at Hardee's on Lebanon Road. The only Hardee's I know of in this area. Who else is east of Mount Juliet?
T4TWI.
Hey, Wes, where are you at? Home?
Well, home. I just got off the tower. I was up there making adjustments to a 6-meter antenna. I got rained on. I got off at dusk.
Oh, wow. Well, everything gets squared away, right?
Yes. I got a good workout too. Hold, not even heavy things, but, hold things over your head, and screwing things in. And multitasking, not shoulders and arms or shoulders.
Yep. I'll tell you some other time about that. But yeah, I know the feeling very, very well. Did a lot of that in construction, and that's where that's back when ships were wood and men were steel. You develop really good shoulder muscles.
Yep. By the way, I could not hear that mobile station. Not surprised, but all right, go ahead. K4TWI.
Yeah, very good. Appreciate it. That's Wes, Kilo Echo 4 Tango Whiskey India. Just got off of his tower making some adjustments to something. Didn't say what. Probably doubling the height. That'd be nice. Anyway, he's in what do you call it down there near Watertown? Who else east? Please come in.
KN4LXH.
Hold on, Richard. I got Jimmy in there first. How you doing, Jimmy?
Pretty good. Paul, how about yourself?
I was a little hectic chasing it was one of those deals. You're supposed to be ready in an emergency, and so we lost power, and I said, oh dang! And I got a battery backup, and I said, well, do I want to run the big battery, the big radio, one of the big radios on the emergency backup? And it said, nope, I'm going to run. So I was chasing, trying to figure out where my charger was for my handheld, where my remote mic was for the handheld. And then I had to figure out, it took me a while to figure that out. And then got it all hooked up and the power came back in.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I had my ham station hooked into an uninterruptible power supply, which apparently could not handle the current from the linear. So one day it started setting off a high 1,000 hertz tone. I couldn't figure out where it was coming from. I thought I was doing something wrong or whatever, checking SWR and all that, and I realized it's the darn uninterruptible power supply, that's the UPS that's causing the problem. So I finally had to put the linear on a regular wall outlet.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, this is just a relatively small UPS. It's normally, it's good for a little backup if I was just going to use the handheld. And that's why I decided to do that, because I've done it before. But it's just, it's not big enough to handle the bigger radios, which have just even a standing current draw is too high for that, So I know the handheld will work good. In fact, I don't know if you heard me a few minutes before 8, I came on with the handheld and told everybody to hang on because I'll be back in a minute. But they can hear me up in north of Nashville. They can hear me clear. on 5 watts on the handheld.
Wow. Okay, that's great. Oh, by the way, I got my WAS certificate from ARRL last week. I made it a goal to try and get that during the first year of my HF existence, and it looks like it happened.
Oh, terrific. When did you complete that? I mean, when did you submit that to ARRL?
About 2 weeks ago.
In which, I'm sorry, I was half listening. I was so happy for your, it worked all states, but was that in multi-mode?
Yes, sir. That's a mixed band certificate. I'm going to start working on the single band certificates next.
Yeah, I like that friend of mine who's since SK, but he used to joke and he goes, I got started with worked all states and I didn't get done, so I'm starting over.
Okay. I'm not sure how you do that though.
No, I don't think you need to start over. I mean, it's like it's collective, it just keeps adding up. All right, very good, Jimmy. Doing otherwise, you were still working on something else on the. Well, you got that, not that spider beam, but the other thing. I think of the name. What's the name of that thing?
Oh, you mean the hex beam?
Yes.
Well, actually, I took the hex beam down. I had some problems with the mast and not being able to keep it on a certain heading, so I've got to resolve that. The decision to go away from the tower to the mast was probably a bad one. I'm probably going to pay for that for a while.
I got you. Well, we live and learn, and then we live with the consequences, so to speak. I mean, I'd love to have a tower with a nice beam on it, but that isn't going to happen right now. But, you just got to be content with what you got.
That's me. You make the most of what you got. Back to you.
Yeah, very good. And most people don't have linear amplifiers, and most people don't have 100-foot towers, and most people only have 100 watts or less. And I just learned that UK, I think, runs 40 watts as their max.
40? What?
No, it's not 40. It's lower than our maximum. Ours is 1,500, and I believe theirs is 400. I think I got that. I was mixing it up with India, which is like 40 or 50.
Oh, okay. I understand.
No, they much lower in the UK. Maybe it's because it's a smaller country. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Well, maybe. I mean, their backyard is Europe, so they don't probably don't need much more about 50 watts to talk to those guys.
No, that's true, and they come in pretty good to this continent too, at least on the east side.
I just don't hear much out of. I've heard France and Italy and maybe some in Northern Africa, but I've never heard the UK. Never. I mean, I've never heard Japan. I've never heard China.
Really? Huh. Well, maybe you're not holding your mouth right on the microphone.
I don't know.
All right, very good, Jimmy. Good to have you in there. Jimmy is just north of the high school here in Mount Juliet, up by Lebanon Road. That's Kilo November 4 Lima X-Ray Hotel. Who else east? Please come in. Going up north.
K4DZ. G4WT.
Hey, hold on, Steve. Coming in great, but Earl jumped you in there. He forgot to come in from east. How you doing, Earl?
Doing pretty well. I'm just sitting here reading this here how to level a mower deck, and I guess we're trying to be the last, but not the last. But anyway.
Yeah, that level in the mower deck, you got to start out with it's got to be sitting on a perfectly flat concrete surface, dude.
Yeah, that's what they say, but daggone, I ain't got one of them.
You drag it into the living room.
Hey, there you go. I knew that French door was good for something.
Yeah, very good. You had a good signal tonight, Earl.
Yeah, that's a good deal. You got one over here too. I'm still on my 12-foot high 300 antenna over here, so I guess Mother Nature must be good.
Yeah, no, the audio is great. The signal strength is only S3, but excellent audio, nice and loud and relatively clear. But you're doing great. You're still only running 50, right?
Yeah, somewhere around there, 40, 45, 50, something like that, whatever the radio says it's supposed to do.
All righty, very good. That's Earl, and he's down there in Noreen, just east of the Cedars of Lebanon Park. And that's Kilo Echo 4 Delta Echo Zulu. And I heard, who did I just hear in there? In fact, I passed over Richard. Richard, you still there? Well, he must have had to take a phone call or something. Who else was in there on top of Earl there? Who was that? Oh, that was Steve. Steve from How you doing tonight?
Wonderful. This is the best signal that I've heard from you in a long time. And I'm on the new beam, so I've checked my numbers out tonight. I don't have the video up yet. Heard you earlier when you were on 5 watts. You sounded great.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, you're actually 10 over right now, and it's probably the best I've heard you, unless we had excellent conditions. I don't remember any of this good because your audio it's like you're just across town or over in Lebanon or somewhere nearby.
Yeah, and I heard several of the other gentlemen in there also.
Wow. Well, you're doing fantastic. How are you doing up there in Kentucky?
Pretty good. I rode the motorcycle this morning and didn't get wet. I got wet on the way home, but it's no big deal. Just a little bit of sprinkles.
Yeah, work's going good.
Yep. We're continuing to expand, so we're just going to keep doing that over and over and over again, I guess.
Yeah, expansions are always a pain, aren't they? Have you been through one before there?
I've never been in a virtual state of construction.
Yeah, well, what's funny is they'll do the expansion and they'll never ask anybody on the plant floor to take a look at the plans, and they'll be wrong.
Oh, I hope not.
No, there'll always be something that the design engineers, for the plant mess up when they do the design and layout. Always something will go, oh yeah, we forgot about that.
All right. Well, I want to give you another number. I'm going to go upstairs and go to bed. You got to work in the morning, so 4:15 comes early.
Yeah, very good. How many elements is that new beam, Steve?
5 elements.
Yeah, that's great. Whose is it? Do you remember?
Cush crabs.
Yeah, very good. And it's 2 meter only?
No, it's a dual bander.
Very good. It's 5 on 2 meters though? Or is it 5 and 3 and 2 or 2 and 3? Or is that just tell me?
5 element both ways.
Oh, cool. Yeah, well, it's got an excellent. I mean, really, I don't think I've ever heard you better on the audio or on the signal strength.
All right, my friend. I'll let you go. You guys are sounding good. Well, we're still working on my Simplex Net up here, so it goes well. I got 10 check-ins with myself the other night.
Awesome. That's a great start.
Yep, just keeps growing.
Yeah, well, as this one did. And anyway, that's Steve. And do I have that your call right? It's Whiskey 4, Whiskey KU, or is it K4? I forget.
Kilo 4.
There you go. I messed up. Didn't think there was 2 W's in there. Very good. That's Kilo 4, Whiskey Kilo Uniform. And that's Steve in just north of, just north of what you call it there, Bowling Green. And a 5 element beam, which is working great. It's 5 elements on 2 meters. It is. It's a dual band, and it's 5 elements on each. Doing a great job. Best audio I've heard, and since I've talked to him for the last, I don't know, a couple of years. Who else? North, please come in. Anybody else north? Is anybody? Richard, are you still in there? No, he's not. All right, we're going over to the west then, west of Mount Juliet. Is this?
4YRF.
Hey, how are you hanging in there? You're not working this week?
Well, actually, I went back to the hospital yesterday. I thought I was having another heart attack, but come to find out it was the Brilinta blood thinner they gave me. Causes you to have, causes some people to have shortness of breath.
Oh man, that would be scary.
Well, it was, but I was just happy that that's all it was. They changed me over to another medicine, and it went right away.
I know, but it's still scary. After you go through this, everything's fine, and then it's not fine.
Yep, you're right about that. Rick is not going to be able to check in tonight. The state's been his billing all week, and he's working late.
Oh, very good. Well, I'm glad he's well. As long as he's working, that's the good thing. Yeah, we'll miss him, but when's he get? Oh, that's right. He had a setback, so maybe another couple of weeks before he gets rolling.
Yeah, hopefully he's got a lot of overtime this week, so maybe that'll help him out.
Yeah, very good. If he has any leftover, he can ship it over to me if you want to.
I'll tell him.
All right. That was Michael, Kilo Mike 4 Yankee Romeo Foxtrot, recovering from some health issues, but it sounds like he's very robust at the moment. We're happy to have him not back with the living, but continuing to be with the living. And again, he's in Belshire. It's Michael in Belshire. Who else? West, please come in.
Katie for OEN. We are happy to have Michael back with us and doing well. And hello to Paul. Hope you're doing well tonight and the rest of the game. We're getting a few storms over our way too, but it's just off and on. So thankfully it's not too bad. I hope it doesn't get too bad tonight.
Or tomorrow or the weekend. It's supposed to be kind of worse as the days go on. Isn't that what I read?
Yes, I've read that too. So I hope it doesn't. And I always have to try to remember to plug all these antennas and all this good stuff. Take care of all the equipment.
Yeah, very good. But you're back up to full speed, Mary?
I am. Thank you so much for asking, Paul. I'm very thankful for that.
Oh yeah, no question. Well, they say without your health, you got nothing, and it's true because I just know from my own experience that when you don't feel well, nothing's good.
You're so right, and you can't buy your health. That's one of those things that's just a gift, and so it's just wonderful to be back, feeling like my old self again. So I hope all of you have a good rest of your evening, and I'm going to pass the mic over to Mr. Marty here, and hope you all take care. And what could you tell me again what that July date was for I think it was the Lebanon Ham Fest?
Yeah, the Lebanon Ham Fest is July 27th at the fairgrounds.
Okay, thanks, Paul. Have a good evening. 73 to everybody.
Yeah, very good. You can't buy good health, but you certainly can buy bad health. Hey, Marty, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. KD4 BQK.
Yeah, very good. Good. You must be having a good time because I haven't heard you on the air in the last couple of days.
Yeah, we've been busy with a lot of stuff.
Good. I'm glad. Well, ham radio is a hobby, and it comes second to whatever else you got going on with the family.
So we've been doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah, very good. I'm glad to hear it, and I know you're glad to have Mary back up to full speed. I guess is the only way I can say it.
Okay, we're glad.
Yeah, very good. And anyway, that's great. Great to have you in there, Marty. That was Marty, Kilo Delta 4, Bravo, Quebec Kilo, and Mary is better half, Kilo Delta 4, Oscar, Echo, November. Good to have you in there in Belshire as well. Who else? West of Mount Juliet? West of Mount Juliet, please come in.
Whiskey 4, Alpha Whiskey Echo.
Yeah, very good. Could you hear this? Were you on when the Kentucky station was in there, John?
Yeah, I was, but I could, he was down in the noise to me.
Well, he's pointed due south because they're pretty much, I think he's 4 or 5 degrees off and north, to the east from me. So he's pointing to me, so he's missing you by about, I don't know, maybe 40 degrees.
What was he using? Like one of those Era 2-meter 440 antennas?
No, it's a dual element. It's a dual band, 5 elements on 2 and 5 elements on 70 centimeters from Cushcraft.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Yeah, no, he had a great signal to me. I don't know if you didn't see it on the thing there, but he was running about 10 over here, and that's the best signal I've ever heard on him.
Yeah, that's great. That's going to make him happy. Oh, by the way, congratulations to Jimmy on that WAS. That's great, Nate. That's really wonderful. Fantastic in the first year of HF.
It is wonderful, really. And it's a little easy. Well, no, actually, it's harder now in some ways just because of band conditions. But if you're doing any digital, it's a little easier in some respects.
Yeah, but I don't think Jimmy would do anything digital. I mean, one thing for sure. I mean, I actually happened to catch on YouTube, and it was wonderful, about an hour-long lecture by Joe Taylor himself, the professor at Princeton who actually wrote and invented all these modes. And I think yesterday they just announced FT4, which I've not used any of them, but I know how they work, and I think what he's done is incredible. I mean, he did it all basically for moonbounds. Over.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, I had not done the most current digital modes, but even on the other digital modes, I'll say the old school ones, the RIDI and PSK, the PSK, different baud rates, and really phenomenally. I'm not saying it's easy. You still have to pay attention to band conditions, and, what time of day it is, but it's amazing how well digital gets out.
It is, and I think the biggest breakthrough with his new FT4 is it actually makes it amenable to have a conversation, and I believe it's it's using only 4 tones instead of 8, so it's 1/4 as long as a transmission, so it's much quicker, and it does not require both radios to be clock synced within the same minute.
Oh, is that right? Yeah, that was kind of, I don't want to say it was a pain, but it was kind of painful to go through that, and then oh man, I got to wait another cycle and then another cycle to to catch up with whoever you were trying to contact with. And you're right, everybody had to be synced on the same clock.
Yeah, but the new one, he says you don't, and I mean, he finds the whole thing sort of fascinating because he and one of his graduate students worked on all these modes, and he just goes, we never intended it for HF, but it's astonishing to see what's happened with it.
Oh, that's funny. I would have thought it was developed for HF. I mean, what was he just doing it for? VHF, UHF?
No, I mean, he's for years had a real strong interest in moonbounds, which is primarily up, 10 meters and up, mostly up in 2 meter and 440, but he's an interesting guy to hear talk. For a professor who actually won a Nobel Prize, he's a really engaging, very good speaker.
Huh. Yeah, I'll have to look that up. Yeah, that's fascinating that because really moon bounce, as you know, requires a fair amount of power on those frequencies. And here we got doing those digital modes on HF, you can get away with 10 watts or 5 watts, very low power.
Yeah, that was his goal originally, was to have a mode that is literally like FT8 in most instances. Well, I can't say most, but in many instances, you will not even see it on a band scope, and you will not hear it because it's down in the noise.
Oh yeah, I know. I've been shocked at what I've seen in the past. How much I've worked guys. Now I'm trying to remember how low it was, but I know I've worked them across the country on 5 watts. He's been on 5 watts, and I was on 5 watts, and I had 80% copy.
Yeah, I mean, moonbounce really sort of is the ultimate 2-meter simplex, because I think a lot of times the success of it, from what I've heard, is to have one super station on one end doing the heavy lifting, like somebody that's got one of those gigantic, 8x8 arrays.
Yeah, well, look how much money they've got. More money than their array than I have more than I've got in my multi-mode rig here and my current antenna. That's a lot of money in stacked 2-meter, 70-centimeter beams.
Well, you'll end up with more money in the rotator itself than I probably have in my Jeep.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's the one that's synchronous with the rotation and everything.
Yeah, plus it's doing 2 axes.
Yeah, no, I can't imagine. No. Well, I'll have to. When I get rich, I'll do that mode, I guess. Either that, or I'll just have to point it with my hand. No, that wouldn't work. I know people have done that though. They don't need a rotator, but my gosh, that's a lot of money to tie up. Maybe just some club ought to do it. All right, very good, John. Good to have you in there. Whiskey 4 Alpha Whiskey Echo. He's over in Bellevue. Great signal. A little bit of talk there about the digital modes. And congratulations to Jimmy over there in Mount Juliet. Who else? West, please come down. Anybody else west? South of I-40, please come down. Anybody south of Interstate 40?
Delivery KM4VVA.
Hey, hold on one second, Dan. I think I heard. Who did I hear in there? NNY?
Correct.
All right. Gosh, I know 4K. I can cheat and look, which I'm gonna. Hold on one second. I do this all the time. I'll get the calls messed up. NNY. So I'm cheating here by trying to look through my notes and I can't find it. All right, it's what is it? Give me the first two letters.
Kilo Mike 4 November Yankee Bill.
Yeah, no, it's funny. I try to scratch my brain and try to figure it out, and sometimes it draws a blank. Well, very good. How you doing, Bill? You sound good.
Oh, doing pretty good. Just trying to get things done like normal. And you know how that goes some days. Other than that, don't have anything new, so I'll turn it on back to you and 73s to everybody else.
Yeah, very good. It's Bill in Murfreesboro with a great signal. He is S9 bumping up against 10 over, and he's in Murfreesboro. Glad to have you in there, Bill. And Dan, how you doing?
Doing fine. I wanted to tell you when you were on the HT over here, you were 40 over on me.
Yeah, I know it's funny that 5 watts, whether it's off the HT or whatever, you'd hear me on on a half a watt, I believe, real well. By the way, did you see that new development that's coming up down the street from you?
No, I don't usually get behind Walmart there.
No, up the street from you, over there on what do you call it, Melinda Parkway.
Oh, they're just building one thing after another, so I don't pay attention. I stay in and watch the grass grow.
Now, I saw where there's some people who were upset because it's really funny to me that people move into a neighborhood in a new development 3 or 4 years ago, and then they complain when another development gets built, as if it's an insult to them.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, too, I'm not picking up anybody very clear today, except Steve. He sounded like he was right over my shoulder.
Oh, yeah, no, he had a great signal, didn't he?
Yeah, that's the first time I picked him up.
Yeah, that little antenna's doing it. Think if he had a really big antenna, what he'd sound like.
Well, then I'd probably break my meter.
Yeah, that's right. But you're not hearing many of the other stations tonight, huh?
A lot of interferences. Very scratchy on a lot of them.
Yeah, it's probably all that development over there where you live.
Either that or the weather.
Yeah, no, it could very well be the weather. You didn't lose power tonight?
No, we did not. But I saw where Mount Juliet had reported a accident between a truck and a power pole. So that's probably what affected you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, it came back up pretty quick, though. I was happy about that. Makes it a lot easier to do the net when I got full power. All right, very good. That was Dan, Kilo Mike 4, Victor Alpha, and he is over there in Providence area on the south side of 40. Who else south of 40?
Kilo 4, Oscar, Foxtrot, Oscar. Good evening there, Greg.
Hey, hold on one second. I had Kilo 4, Oscar, Foxtrot, Oscar. Donnie was in there first. How you doing, Donnie?
Doing good. Can't complain. Just have to do a lot of yard work, getting caught up with everything. But been able to hear everybody on the net tonight. Everything sounds good, and appreciate what's going on. 73s to everybody, and I'll turn it back over to you.
Yeah, very good. I had another station. That was Donnie, by the way. Kilo 4, Oscar, Foxtrot, Oscar, about 6 miles south of me, east of Mount Juliet Road. There was another station in there. Who was it?
KR4AZ. How's it going, Paul?
Hey, how are you doing there, Tim? Murfreesboro get any rain tonight?
I don't believe it. I believe it broke up. We got a sprinkle. That's about it. It basically broke up before we got here.
Yeah, it's funny how I was remarking to my wife, I never watch the local weather. I rarely watch the news, the local news. I rarely watch the national news for that matter. But I always get a kick out of them. They're talking about severe storms or severe storm cautions. And I'm thinking, the last 5 times you said that, I didn't get anything.
That's right. They kind of hit it on the head. One on Channel 5 at what's her name, Bree, because it's kind of breaking up as it comes east. So it wasn't much to it. We had a real beautiful sunset, kind of like a fireball out there in the west. So that really did look good. You been doing all right?
Oh yeah, not doing great. I take my frustrations out on the equipment I have in my garage on that rowing machine this evening. So in fact, I did. I think when I look on the web and I still look a little sweaty, but yeah, no, it's no, we had a similar thing here. I saw a nice sunset when I was racing around trying to get when we lost power and running around with my flashlight, but the sunset looked great.
Yeah, very good. I've been busy this week trying to get some things squared away. Got to go in tomorrow morning for another surgery. Well, I had a surgery back in January 31st. So it's grown quite a bit of scar tissue around the surgery site, so they got to go and clean it up. So hopefully that'll go well and get it all out of there. The worst part of it, you have to wear that bag around for about 5 days. And catheter, that's not good, but anyway, it could be worse.
Yeah, it doesn't sound life-threatening, but as anything, any surgery is a cautionary enterprise on people.
Oh yeah, you can always fixing one thing. It's kind of like plumbing. You fix one thing, it messes something else up. You don't watch. But anyway, Paul, I'll let you go and get back to everybody else. Hope everybody has a good night. Good talking to you. Everybody sounding good. Kentucky was really booming in down here in Murfreesboro. He's had about 10 units on this thing. I won't say S units, but anyway, he was sounding good. Everybody sounded pretty good tonight. 73s. Take care, my friend. K4PW, KR4AZ. Talk to you later.
All righty, very good, Tim. I hope the surgery goes well. Thoughts and prayers are with you. And that was Kilo Romeo for Alpha Zulu in Murfreesboro. His name was Tim. Great signal. He was full scale to me. Who else we got? Had a great report on, by the way, Steve, I think, went to bed, but he had him I think he said he had S9, S10 out of Kentucky. So his beam is really working good. And he's running a Simplex Net up there as well. We'll have to get that data again. I don't have it right in front of me. So maybe some of us could work him Simplex on the net. He's running up there in Bowling Green. All right. Who else saw the 40? All righty, Ed. We had a couple on top of you, but go ahead first. You're doing great out of Shake Rag down there.
Well, good evening, Paul. Good evening, everyone on the net. This is Kilo Delta 4, Zulu Golf Yankee, name is Ed. And I want to check in. I got a friend from War Trace that may be trying to check in tonight as well. It'll be his first time, I guess. I seen him this afternoon, and he said he's going to try to check in. So kind of listen for him. I don't have his call sign in front of me right here, but anyway, Paul, I appreciate you letting me in.
Yeah, very good. Did you by any chance hear the Kentucky station?
No, I wasn't on then.
We'll have to catch another time. No, he was like 10 over to me here in Mount Juliet. So I assume with your beam pointed north, you'd be able to pick him up.
I hope so there. But anyway, I'll catch him another night. I would like to find out when he's doing his Simplex Net. That would be good to try to see if we can catch him. Yeah,
very good. That was Ed. Appreciate you being there, Ed. That was Kilo Delta 4 Zulu Golf Yankee in Shake Rag near Shelbyville. Is there a fella out of War Trace on here? All right, we'll take anybody then. Anybody else out of the 40? I had a double in there.
69 Bravo Oscar, Quebec.
Hold on, Dennis. There was somebody else south first. Hold on. Who is south? Please come in.
Way down south, Reedyville, Tennessee. KI4NDN.
There we go. How you doing, David?
All right, I must need to bump that power up there.
Well, you seem to be on a pretty good power at the moment. Your audio is very good.
Okay, that was low power, and I guess that's the reason I was bumping heads there. I wasn't able to hear other stations, but good evening to you, Paul. Appreciate what you're doing.
Yeah, you're only hitting me about S3, but the audio is excellent.
Okay, well, that's very good. I was had some other things going on here, but I did not hear that Kentucky station.
Well, you're just going to have to invest a little more money in an antenna.
Well, I've been waiting on you to send me a check. I'll just continue to wait.
Well, it's going to be like that. You heard about that fella in West Virginia with won the $1 million lottery?
No, sir, but I'm about to hear about it.
Yeah, you get $1 a year for 1 million years.
Okay, when does that begin, please?
Anytime.
All right, I'll go ahead and take my dollar. Send it on.
All right, very good. That was David in Reedyville. Kilo India 4 November Delta November. Good signal, good audio. Hey, I got Dennis in there. Dennis, how you doing?
I am South. I'm mobile tonight.
Ah, where are you mobile?
I don't know. I don't know if I'm South or not. I'm in Nashville. I had a recording session tonight. A really, really cool recording session.
Cool. With anybody I know?
No, it's these group of people that do songs that veterans write that have post-traumatic stress syndrome, and supposedly writing songs helps them psychologically get over their condition. So we did 4 songs. There was a guy there who was Vietnam vet, and every person in his platoon was killed except for him. And he escaped, and he wrote the song called "The Messenger" because he figures he survived because he was the one that had to come out and tell the story.
Yep, that's a rough one for certain. Yeah, I can't imagine what that would feel like. I knew somebody else who had a similar experience, but not quite that bad. But man, oh man. So who's doing that? Who's doing that for them? What group is it? Just is there a name for it?
It's called Operation Song, and they're doing a fund drive right now, I think. So if you feel like donating, it's called Operation Song. A couple dollars even makes a difference. But anyway, I'm going to Myrtle Beach. I got to get on a bus. I'm glad I was able to check in. I just happened to be scanning around. So have a good rest of the net, Paul. Thank you. W9BOQ, back to net.
Yeah, very good, Dennis. That's Dennis, Whiskey 9 Bravo Oscar, Quebec. He was working on some studio work he's a keyboard, organ, piano artist, and he was working with some people who they put the music up, PTSD survivors from the military. And they put it to song, and I guess they're taking donations, so I might as well mention it. But it's called Operation Song. If you find it on the web, or if I find out more, I'll let you know. So I'll catch you later, Dennis, and appreciate the info. I'll look that up. Who else we got? South, please come on.
Kilo Echo 4 Sierra Yankee Victor.
Man, it's rare that you bring up the rear. How you doing, Larry?
Give everybody else a chance sometime.
Yeah, that's right. You doing okay?
Yeah, I'm doing good, Paul.
Very good. You been on your bike recently?
I've made 2 rides.
Yeah, I gave up the rides. I do still do some locally in my neighborhood, but now I get on the rowing machine, and man, that's a lot of work just sitting there.
Has the lake got up that high?
No. If the lake gets up as high as me, you better build an ark where you are.
Okay, man, appreciate it. KE4SYB.
Yeah, very good. That's Larry, Kilo Echo 4 Sierra Yankee Victor. He's in Rockville. Anybody else south 40, please come in. All right, then we're going to take late check-ins. Please come in.
KB9RKK mobile.
All right, I heard Frank in there. How you doing, Frank? The meeting go well?
Yeah, went well. Just almost home, but yeah, got things are moving forward. Looks like we're getting possibly a couple more frequencies.
Couple more frequencies on what?
UHF to put. We're gonna tie them together.
Ah, very good. So that way you'll only have to work off of one repeater then.
Correct. Yeah. Yep. One repeater will key them all. So when you link them, that way in an actual situation, you don't have to worry about which one you can hit. Well, you do, the personal guy that has to call in, but as an organization, we don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, you guys are going to have a whole bunch of linked repeaters like M-tiers, huh?
Well, just for the company, obviously, we don't care about. Not that we don't care about others, but it's about us.
No, I hear you. No, sounds good. Sounds like you guys are making some progress. I'm trying to promote that emergency operations, emergency preparedness net on Tuesdays. So it looks like it's picking up a little bit of speed.
Yeah, we talked about it, and we got to get Mr. Possum Town over there. Wasn't at the meeting, but we got to get him. He was elected elected to write the preamble.
Very good. All right. Well, very good, Frank. Good to have you in there, mobile. That was Kilo Bravo 9, Romeo Kilo Kilo, saying they're making some advances in the repeaters and communication systems they have over there for the Wilson County Emergency Operations Center. All right. Anybody else late check-ins? Please come in.
Whiskey Delta 4 Bravo Whiskey Charlie.
Hey, Jeff. You doing all right?
Doing good, sir. Doing good.
Yeah, your signal's great. Are you home right now?
Yes, sir. I'm home on the mobile.
Oh, no, it sounds great. You got a good audio.
That's good. That's great. I hear a little buzz on my side, but I have a feeling I know what that is.
Well, you probably had a couple of drinks.
I say, there you go.
Anybody who's got a buzz on, man, that's the whole problem.
Absolutely. That definitely is.
All right. Well, very good, Jeff. How many I think we had? I think I overheard. I had to drop out yesterday, but there was at least 3 or 4 on where you and I were, and then you guys moved over to the other one, and they had another. I forget how many, 4 or 5 or something, didn't they?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Sounds like I said. It sounds like you're making progress. Get those linked, and you'll be in Fat City.
You said it. So no problem. We're getting it together.
Yeah, it always takes a while. I mean, it took us only 4.5 years to get where we are here on Simplex Net.
I'm glad you guys are here.
Yeah, very good. Well, we're glad. I'm glad everybody else is here. I'm glad I'm still upright and taking solid food. Very good. That was Jeff, Whiskey Delta 4 Bravo Whiskey Charlie. He's in his mobile, but he's home. Who else? Anybody else late check-ins? Anybody else late check-ins? You don't want to fall into the next category. All right, we're going for the lurkers, lollygaggers, sandbaggers, scanner listeners, SDR donglers, preppers, and end-time survivalists. Please come in. All righty. Nobody wants to own up to that. I did hear, is Richard still in there or not? He must have dropped out. I did hear him in there early. That was KI4SIB. All righty. I'll probably hear from him later complaining that he wasn't able to check in. Procrastinator's got to catch me later tonight or tomorrow, but appreciate everybody who's on the net. If you have any questions about the announcements we had, we don't want to forget to mark your calendars for July 27th for the Middle Tennessee Hymn Quest, which is, like I said, always a great event. And only 15 booths left. If you didn't hear me on the front end of that with N4MEW's announcement, about only 15 booths left. And you can look that up on the web under Mid Tennessee, MIDTNHymnQuest.com. Anybody else any questions, late check-ins before I drop off here? Well, very good. Everybody have a good night. We had 21 check-ins, and hope everybody has a great night. This is K4PEW signing off for the evening.
We'll make it 22.
Well, okay, very good. Who's this?
Teddy for VUW up here in Angeltown, Bethpage.
Is that Uniform Victor Whiskey? Is that correct?
Kilo Delta 4 Victor Uniform Whiskey. VUW.
I'm sorry, I reversed it, didn't I? I had Uniform Victor. It's Victor Uniform Whiskey. And the name there is?
Carlin. I just happened to tune up here by the time you started clearing. Don't work for me, buddy.
I heard somebody else in there. Hold on, Carlin. Who else is in there? I heard somebody else, but it was really weak signal.
84ZG1. Try it again, Philip.
Yeah, I did copy you now. Tomorrow, I did copy that. I'm not here the other guy.
Philip, what's your call? I didn't get that.
Philip, he's hearing you, I think.
I was copying. I heard him, but I didn't catch the call.
I don't have a copy of them at all either.
Did I hear Juliet and Mike Romeo? Is that what I heard, Ed?
Yeah, KMR.
It's Kilo Mike Romeo?
Yeah, that's suffix.
And the prefix is what?
Philip, what's your suffix?
No
Ah, very good. Now I got it. I heard good copy on that. I don't know if you can hear me, but it's November 9 Kilo Mike Romeo, partly a relay, and I don't think, Philip, you're obviously not copying me.
He said he wasn't copying you, but Phil, he got your calls out. He's hearing you in Mount Juliet. You must have some trouble on your receive side, but Phil, he is hearing you.
Little weak copy, but he's there.
Paul, he's got a new setup. It just got a new tower put up, new coax. And he's having to work on his programming on his radio as well. So he'll get his kinks out maybe by next week.
Yep, sounds great. Sounds great there, Ed. Yeah, I heard everything you said. I just happened to get off frequency there for a minute, but that's November 9 Kilo Mike Romeo. Philip, he's down there in that Shelbyville area, and appreciate the relay on that, Ed. Yeah, I'm looking forward to a better signal from him next. Well, I've got a signal on him. I hope it improves, and I hope that he can hear me better next time. But I heard Carlin. It was Kilo Delta 4 Victor Uniform Whiskey. And where are you again, Carlin?
Up here in Bethpage, Mount Vernon area, and the exact spot is Angeltown. I'm about 1 mile off of Highway 52.
Oh, cool. Yep, Bethpage. That's Carlin and Bethpage. And have you been up there long, Carlin?
Oh yeah, been up there quite a number of years.
I just wondered. No, that's what's neat about. I'm a newcomer to Tennessee. I've only been here going on 8 years, but what's kind of neat about coming into a state like Tennessee is there's a lot of people who aren't from out of state. You know, I lived in Florida for 37 years, and everybody was from out of state. Well, not everybody, a lot of people.
Yeah, well, Daddy bought this place back in '71. It was 83 and 7/10 acres, and of course I was still in junior high and stuff, and then I finally got big enough to go to work. Then I got married, and then I moved away, and then my mother passed away in '87. And Daddy remarried a distant cousin of hers, maybe about a year and a half later. Then he decided to move over to another part closer to Portland. Then he got lonesome from over here, because then I come back up here with my wife and kids and moved into home. And he built a house next door. And I don't know, that's how I ended up back up here. I guess I've been back up here maybe the last since 2008, somewhere along in there.
Oh, that's cool. So do you still have the 83 acres?
No, Daddy, when he moved over there close to Portland, he sold off all of it but 5.1. And he thought he was going to like that place over there. Well, he got to missing a neighbor that lived across the road over here. And so, of course, I'd moved into home, and he come back, built a house next door. And I don't know, and he was happy back over here. And then he was talking with his neighbor that he liked over there. Well, that neighbor passed away, and then I don't know, my ex, that explains it. She moved out. And I've been here ever since. And I don't know, Daddy, of course, Daddy just passed away in November. And my stepmother passed away back in, turn this other radio off. She passed away back in 16. And from 2012 up to recently, I've been taking care of both of them. And so anyway, that's what's been going on. So I don't know. And here last week, I went and got my Social Security started. So I'm waiting for that in August, the first one to pop up here. So at least I've got that going, and a annuity check coming in from where I worked at R&R Donnelly. And I decided, well, I guess I'll just go ahead and retire and just do that.
Ah, very good. Sounds like you got things squared away. Yeah, and taking care of and having your mother passed away very young, obviously.
Yeah, she died in '87 of colon cancer, and so she'd been gone for quite a while. And Daddy married a distant cousin of hers. Her husband had died of cancer. He had died of lung cancer. Actually, like maybe 2 years before my mother did. And then Mama passed away, and then they got together, and then they got married. And I don't know. That's just how it worked out, I reckon.
Yeah, well, it sounds like it worked out pretty good. I mean, in spite of all the crazy stuff that went on.
Oh, yeah. Well, let me get out of here and let you see if there's any more last check-ins. I just happened to think about this up here and rolled up here about the time you started to clear. So let me get out of here and let you get out of here because you probably want to. Anyhow, this is Kilo Delta 4 Victor Uniform Whiskey KD4 VW, and I'll be clear.
Yeah, very good, Carlin. Good to hear from you. This is that was Carlin, Kilo Delta 4 Victor Uniform Whiskey. He's up in the Bethpage area. I think he called it Angeltown specifically. I believe it was Angeltown. Isn't that what you said, Carlin?
Oh, yeah, that's what the little roadside says on one side of about a 40-foot area. There's a sign on each side of it.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, that's kind of a neat part about Tennessee, though. It's got a lot of neat little places with names that are interesting. Well, very good. Good to have you in there, Carlin. Anybody else? Late check-ins before I jump out of here. Nothing heard. I gave you plenty of time. If you can still check in, I'll be here a little bit. I got to run out for a second here and see what's going on with my mother. Get her to bed. She's only going on 92 and not faring too well. So you guys have a great night. Appreciate all the check-ins. That was 23 now that we had checking in, and it was great. Great to hear from a couple of people like Philip down there near Shelbyville and Carlin out of Angeltown, Bethpage, and good group. K4PW closing the net.